So here we go, boys. Co-main event. Jessica Andrade moving up to fight Katlyn Chookagian. Cody Safdie, why don't you start us on this one?
Yeah, well, honestly, this one has just been gotten me going back and forth, every which way you think about it. It seems like all the clear advantages are for Jessica Andrade. It seems like the pick is definitely Jessica Andrade, and then it almost feels like it's a bit of a trap. So then you start thinking, well, maybe Katlyn Chookagian's got a couple of variables here. This is Andrade going up to 125, Chookagian 5'9", pretty big. You know, she likes to be mobile from the outside. If Andrade doesn't decide to just go with a wrestling heavy game plan, you know, she's got hands, she's got big power. She comes up short on a lot of her punches, especially now that she's going to be coming up to 125. I see pass for Katlyn Chookagian. And then right as I think maybe I take that Chookagian dog play, she comes out and says she's got baby fever. And I was like, man, I ain't taking no play now. That pretty much did it for me. But in all actuality here, I mean, if you just break it down from a stylistical matchup, Andrade just fought, listen, they both fought world-class competition. But Andrade has just been more competitive. She's been in there with the best girls. She's used to fight at 135 back when she debuted with the UFC. You know, best fights at 115, but someone that was a former world champion got a lot of skills. The wrestling advantage, I mean, it's Andrade all day. If Katlyn Chookagian thought she had troubles wrestling with Liz Carmouche, then, I mean, Andrade is going to be a different level. Not as technically sound as Liz Carmouche, but a lot stronger. And, I mean, good top pressure, good submissions. If she's able to go out there and establish the takedowns, it's going to be a nightmare. As far as it's standing, yeah, I mean, if she's just backing her up, landing to the body, moving forward. Again, I see a lot of passive victory for Andrade. Maybe that's the play. But again, man, what it comes down to me is like ring IQ. Like she doesn't always play into her best path. I mean, the first fight with Rose Namajunas, she stands in front of her for way too long, just has to try to kickbox with her. Even though she's getting pieced up, she just doesn't switch. The second Rose Namajunas fight, again, I mean, I don't know. She only really completes the one takedown, kind of abandons that game plan at some point, and then is just comfortable getting outstruck in there. I'm not saying that Rose Namajunas and Katlyn Chookagian are the same level of striking, but at the same time, Rose Namajunas is a 115-pound fighter, and she was able to make improvements to her takedown defense to keep the fight standing, and then use that to outpoint Andrade, who didn't fight a great game plan. With Katlyn Chookagian, I mean, yeah, she's at 125. She is bigger than Rose. She's been working a lot on the wrestling defense. She's been working a lot on the grappling. You saw that in Shevchenko fight, Antonina. But, I mean, what does that matter? Like, what you did to Antonina Shevchenko, you can't do to Andrade. Taking her down, that's not going to happen. Grind her in that kind of way, that's not going to happen. But she does have a good gas tank. She does like to stay on the outside. She does like to be mobile. She likes to kick, move, jab, move, punch, move. And if her takedown defense works out, maybe Katlyn Chookagian. If you ever do better, I'm not exactly advising it. Again, I'm so torn on this. I'm flipping flopping every other minute. But if you do take Katlyn Chookagian, you take her by decision. She's a decision machine. You improve that price. She's not taking out Andrade. Whereas if Andrade gets a finish, she could win a decision, sure, but she could also snack up a guillotine. She could maybe get a rear naked choke. She might be able to land something significant, you know, good punch. She does have punching power. I think she's the more skilled fighter. I just don't know where her head's at. And now coming up to 125, it's hard to get a good read on it. So I really do trust your guys' opinions. If you guys got a hot take, if someone's got a good hot take and they feel confident about it, I am all ears. But this is the kind of fight that I get like a bad gut feeling about it. Like whatever side I end up settling on, not going to be the winning side.
Boy, I tell you what, it's a tricky one. DFS, hit us with a hot take.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this fight, and it seems like a lot of the public is on Katlyn Chookagian. I've seen nothing but love for her, and the line just keeps getting wider and wider on Jessica Andrade, and we touched on it a little bit before the live stream started, but yeah, I really like Andrade in this spot, but am I going to bet it? No. At minus 160, definitely no, because Katlyn Chookagian, it seems like she's one of these fighters who goes out there and she wins a lot of fights that it looks like she's losing. Like watching tape on her, like she's getting outstruck by a decent margin and still winning these decisions because she makes these sounds. And I don't know if the judges, you know, they're watching with their ears, but she's making more sounds than landing shots. She has a 35% striking accuracy. She lands 4.119 strikes. And like, she's throwing a lot more than she's landing. She's making more sounds than she's landing, and the judges eat that up. So, you know, if I was to bet Andrade, you know, it seems like it's one of those fights, whichever fighter you bet is probably going to, you know, you think is going to win. I can see Andrade winning this fight and the judges giving it to Chookagian just because she's maybe the more busier fighter. She's making more tennis sounds, making it look like she's doing more. But Andrade is going to get on the inside. She's going to rush forward. She's like a little bull. She's going to land the harder shots, the more shots. And yeah, we can talk about the physical advantages of Chookagian. She has an 8-inch height advantage, like a 4 or 5-inch reach advantage, but that advantage does not matter when you're on your back. And Andrade coming up to 25, it's a little concerning, but we have seen her at 35 before. She's still going to be very, very strong for this weight class. Of course, like I mentioned, the physical advantages, but Andrade has some really solid wrestling, and Chookagian does struggle with the takedowns. 50% takedown defense, and I'm not all that high on Chookagian, but man, it's really not a fight I want to touch. If more money came in on Chookagian here and Andrade got her at like -120, then I would take a shot. But at -160, if I bet that, I'd be fully prepared to get screwed in some type of way, and I'd be very upset by the call by the judges. But honestly, maybe Andrade goes out here and gets some type of finish, but I just can't put my money on that. The pick's going to be Andrade, and I'm confident in it, but it's just not something I really want to put my money on. But Andrade for the win here. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight, because it seems like a lot of people are on Chookagian. I just don't see it, but we'll definitely see on Saturday.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff going on there with this one. MMA prediction guru, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, man, cool fight. I mean, Jessica Andrade, she's going to be the first female to fight in 3 weight classes in the UFC, so that's pretty cool there. And when you're looking at, I mean, since 2015, since she moved down to 115, she only lost to the 3 champions in the weight class. She only lost to Joanna, Weili Zhang, and Rose, and she has a win over Rose. She won the belt at 115 too. So just when you're looking at it on paper, like resume-wise, I mean, Andrade is definitely the much better fighter. She's beaten the better girls, and she's fought, the better competition as well. And I mean, they broke it down pretty well. I feel like Andrade, if it's on the feet, I feel like, I mean, Katlyn Chookagian will have some advantages with the length, but I still feel like Andrade is not really going to respect the power of Katlyn. Even though Rose was at 115, Weili was at 115, I still feel like they hit with harder intentions, and they hit harder than Katlyn does. So unless Katlyn lands like a high kick, I don't really feel like Jessica is going to respect the power in her hands too much. So I think she's going to be getting inside, attacking the body, getting in on the body locks, and getting the takedowns. I will say Chookagian's guard is a little bit underrated in my opinion. I mean, I do feel like she has a pretty good arm bar, and she can hit some sweep stuff like that. So if I was Andrade, I maybe would try to, hit body locks or slams and just try to stay inside control, stay out of the full guard. But if she can get takedowns and she just pressures, I just feel like she's going to be landing the harder shots on the feet. She's taken on girls like Tisha Torres 10 times. She took down Claudia Gadelha, I think 4 or 5 times, dominated her in the grappling. So Chookagian, I mean, we've seen her taken down, destroyed by Valentina. She got taken down by Liz Carmouche. I just feel like the game plan is there for Andrade to get on the inside, get in the clinch. I feel like she have a big strength advantage there, even though Katlyn is theoretically the bigger girl. I still think Jessica is going to be a lot stronger. So, yeah, I got to go with Jessica Andrade here. I feel like she should definitely get the win.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, man, I'm on Andrade as well. And I tell you what, guys, earlier this week, I was really thinking I'm going to put a bet on Jessica Andrade. But unfortunately, the line has moved totally the other way. I'm like DFS, man. I've had my ear to the grapevine of the MMA community, okay? And I'm hearing a lot of love for Katlyn Chookagian. Unfortunately, when it comes to somebody showing up to the betting window and putting their hard-earned money down, everybody's betting on Andrade. I thought it was going to go the other way. I thought I was going to be able to get on Andrade like a -115, maybe even money. All the love I'm hearing on Chookagian, maybe even a small plus number. Not going to happen. Looks like I've missed the boat. Guru, man, you nailed it. Stole my best points here. Jessica Andrade, since she's moved to 115, 7-3. Who are those 3 losses? Champ, champ, champ. Weili Zhang, Joanna, Rose Namajunas. I mean, she beat Rose once, you know what I'm saying? And she was on her way to really turning it up on her. Had that been a 5-round fight, was probably going to beat Rose again. Do I put Katlyn Chookagian on that level? Absolutely not. I do not. Is she improving? Is she better? Yes. Is she also saying a whole lot of stuff in the media that I'm not about? Yeah, man. I can't think of any woman fighter we've heard talking about that baby fever who's gone out there and impressed after that. I mean, that's kind of a big tell on Katlyn Chookagian's part. But here's my thing, man. I see a lot of people talking about the size discrepancy. And there is a size discrepancy. But here's the thing, right? With Jessica Andrade, there's almost always going to be a size discrepancy. Has there ever been a fight she was the bigger woman? I don't think so. I mean, she fought at 135 and was a top 15 fighter. Beat a lot of good fighters. Lost to some, but beat a lot of them too. Now we're talking 125. I think there's a chance we see the best Jessica Andrade we've ever seen. Was the weight cut affecting her? Is her, as the older she gets, is it harder for her to cut to 115? I would say yeah, and I think she's probably made the right move here. I got Andrade on this one. Unfortunately, I've kind of put a bet on the concept that I would end up getting better money on Andrade at this point, minus 160. I missed the boat, man. It's women's MMA. I'm not about her at 160. It's going to have to be a pass. Unless we see a rapid swing and Andrade comes back closer to even money, I will pull the trigger. I have a feeling, though, especially after you guys take our advice in this video, not happening. I think I missed the boat. An unfortunate women's MMA pass. But I feel like at this point, it's just what you got to do. So
if you do want to get greasy with it, though, right? Fight to go the distance is minus 200. It seems like the bookmaker's pretty fond on the idea that it probably goes the distance. Katlyn Chookagian, she's always going the distance. Meanwhile, Andrade more of a finisher, but Chookagian's tough. Chookagian's been a finisher just the one time against the GOAT. The absolute GOAT is in the 3rd round, right? This is only a 3-round fight. Now, if you got Andrade, it's minus 160. You don't like the minus 160. If you just go by this fight is going the distance, and Andrade is going to take her down, and then, you know what? Katlyn Chookagian's a BJJ black belt. Not going to get submitted. Doesn't get pounded out. It goes at 15. You can get plus 160 on Andrade by decision. So if you want to try to improve a price tag of minus 160, geez, I really don't want a close fight like that. Plus 160 feels a whole lot better. And again, the more I'm thinking about this fight, I probably do see it going 3.
yeah, I think that makes sense. You know, Cody, I'm glad you brought up the decision because there's one point I actually forgot about this fight. If this fight does go to the scorecards, I feel like the judges are going to have 2 options, and it's going to be how they personally score a fight because, unfortunately, this is MMA, and you can basically come up with whatever you want as a judge how you score a fight. And it's going to come down to quality or quantity. So I'm going to tell you right now, Chookagian will have the quantity. Andrade is going to have the quality. Okay, when Andrade touches you, those are going to be very effective, good, significant strikes. When Chookagian touches you, there's not a lot on them, but there's going to be more of them. Going to be down to that judge to decide what they prefer when they pick the winner. So, yeah, that's your co-main event for you. Boy, now that we've talked about it, this is a very tough fight to get a read on. I'm actually very glad I'm passing on it, honestly.